Hello everyone and welcome back to another coin roll hunting video. In today's video we're going to be doing a little bit of a bigger hunt. We're going to search through $200 in mixed rolls. Let's get into it. Alright, so I thought that we'd start things off with the dimes. So I have $50 in dimes here for you, and then after that we'll move on to the nickels, and then we'll do the quarters, and then we'll do the pennies. So we got everything in this hunt except for dollar coins and half-dollar coins. Alright, so I'm going to get into this edge hunt, and I'll talk a little bit about what I look for in these dime rolls. So when we edge hunt, the main thing that we look for is silver. So dimes 1964 and older are 90% silver. And that might be one right there. Let me look at this. I kind of don't think so. Yeah, it looks coppery. We'll see. When I go through the roll later, we'll see if it actually is, but I don't think so. But yeah, so we got 90% silver is the main thing that we look for dimes, not nickels. But there's other things that we look for as well. I'll be setting aside some of these to look for errors after I edge hunt here. We also look for proof coins and foreign coins. So tends to be, once in a while we'll find a Canadian coin. I know in my last hunt that I had, I found a Canadian nickel and a Canadian penny, so we'll see if we find any of those today. I think we probably will, since we're hunting so much today. Let's see. I don't see any there. Anything old would be super cool to find, so like a mercury dime or something like that. And another thing that I look for is the 1996 W West Point minted dime, which is just super low mintage, so that would be cool to find. But since it's so low mintage, we're probably not going to find it, but you never know. And the past 2 dime hunts that I did, at least I think it was, we found 90% silver, so that would be pretty cool. So we'll have to see what we get in these couple rolls. Yeah, I'm happy because I was able to finally find, if you've been watching my videos, I have been saying a lot that I've been looking for a good bank that will give me some coins, and I finally found one. And I went there and brought $200 and was like, give me what you got. And so they gave me a bunch of stuff. I like having a variety and be able to search through several denominations. So just got a little bit of everything except for halves. They didn't have any halves when I went. So hopefully from now on I'll be able to get more than just 20 rolls when I go to the bank. Alright. So far I'm not seeing much. That's okay. If we don't find anything here, then I'll just move on to the nickels straight away. So we will see. This could be a proof. This looks like a pretty thick. Nope. Just a very shiny 2023. Right. Last 2 rolls. And I do have some of the rolls for the dimes. These are all bank wrapped, but for some of the rolls they're customer wrapped. I know for the pennies it's all customer wrapped rolls, so we'll see if there's any difference there too, because I usually do bank wrapped rolls because that's what I was able to get a hold of before. So we will see. But I'm interested to check that out because I know some people have a lot of good luck with doing customer wrapped and some people have great luck doing bank wrapped, so I'd like to try it out. Alright, so I'm going to search through these, and if I find anything then I'll bring you in, and if not, then I'll move on to the nickels. Alright, so I just finished looking through the dimes and I didn't end up finding anything, but I have set aside some of these dimes here to look for some errors, so I'll be doing that, and if I find anything then I'll bring you back in for it, and if not then I'll bring you in with the nickels. Alright, so I thought I'd bring you in. We find one of these about every dime hunt that we do, but this is a 1970 with the reverse of the 68. And how you can tell that is if you look in the flame here, there's some extra details in the flame. So there's some lines right here, right there, and right there that are not supposed to be there. So let me show you. This is an example of one that doesn't have it. This is just a regular 1970, and it doesn't have those details. But if we move this other one back, you can see it's got those extra lines. So I found 2 of those actually. So I'll set it aside as a find, even though it's not much, and I'll continue going through these dimes for errors. Alright, so I just finished searching through the dimes, and so I thought I'd bring you in for the nickels. And for the nickels, we have here $24 in nickels, and I would stand them up like I normally do, but as you can see, we have some bank wrapped rolls and also some customer wrapped, and the customer wrap don't want to stand up, so we're gonna have them be laying down like this. So I thought that we'd edge hunt the rolls. There's 12 rolls here. I usually before was doing just 10 roll hunts, so we got 2 extra rolls this time. And I have noticed that a lot of these have marks on them, so like this one has a line down it, things like that. So that means they've probably been hunted before, but that doesn't mean we still can't find something. Maybe someone reused a wrap that another coin roll hunter had or something like that. So we're still going to hunt it and see if we can find anything. So let's get into these rolls, and I'll talk a little bit about what I look for. So for nickels, like a lot of the other coins that I search, one of the big things we search for is silver, especially when we're edge hunting. So one of the main things, ooh, that's really shiny. I wonder if these are all, this could be a whole roll of 22s, 2022s. So we could get some of that too. Let's hope not too much. But for silver war nickels, that's one of the things that we look for when we edge hunt, because they often have a really dark edge, and you can see that silver really clearly. Yeah, I think these 2 rolls are both 2022s. Let me see this one. I think this one's going to be as well. So I'm gonna let me see these. These all might be. Let me just open these real quick off camera, and then I'll bring you back in a minute. Alright, so yeah, all of those rolls ended up being 2022s and 2023s, so I guess we only have really 6 rolls that we're, or 7 rolls here that we're hunting. That's alright. That does happen sometimes with coin roll hunting. Anyways, let me get back to what I was saying. So with silver war nickels, we find those a lot because when we edge hunt, they're darker color on the edge. So that's one thing that we search for. And these wraps are going to take me a bit longer to open, so I apologize for that. I'm less used to opening customer wraps. They're going to be a little bit more messy too, especially with these taped ones. Also, we search for things like the 2020W nickel, just because it's really low mintage. Anything old, so like a Buffalo or a V nickel, would be super cool. I haven't found that in a little bit. I haven't found silver war nickel in even more time, so that would be really nice to find. I will be setting aside all of the coins that are older than 1962 to search for errors. So we will be doing that. Also, we search for proof coins and foreign coins. I tend to find a lot of Canadian coins. My last time I found a Canadian nickel, so maybe we'll find one of those today as well. And then also the last thing is Henning Nickels. So those are a type of counterfeit nickel. So they are all within those years of pre-1962. So I'll be looking for those as some of the error coins that I'm looking for, because they're pretty cool. Some of these rolls, they just don't want to spit the coins out. So get through them. Let me see. It's a 1964, just really dirty. So yeah, after I get these all out here, this is not as much edge hunting because, well, we can't open it very cleanly, so we can't see just the edge, but that's okay. Once I get through these, then I'll search through them and set aside any coins that I find, and after that we'll move on to the quarters. So this is the last roll here. There we go. Alright, I'm not seeing anything here yet, so I will bring you back in when I find something. Alright, so I just finished searching through the nickels, and unfortunately I didn't end up finding anything. There was like 2 coins that were older than 1962, and I think it was a 1960 and a 1961, and there wasn't any errors on them, so I thought we'd just move on to the quarters. And I think we're going to start with these customer wraps. These 2 are marked, and these 2 aren't, so I think we're going to start with these 2 unmarked ones, and then go into these 2 marked ones, and then the bank wrapped ones. So to start things off, I do have this Washington quarters book that has a couple quarters that we need to fill with it. So we'll be looking for these years specifically to look for book fillers for this book in this hunt. And as I go through these rolls, we'll talk a little bit about what I look for. So for quarters, the main thing is the 90% silver quarters. So anything older than 1964 is 90% silver when it comes to quarters. That's the year to remember. So if you ever come across a quarter that has a year that's older than 1964, you should hold on to it because it's worth way more than a quarter. So that's the main thing that we look for, and then also like old coins, which are also silver. Older quarters are also silver. But when we're edge hunting, silver is the main thing because it has that bright white edge that you always dream of when it comes to silver. And then we'll also be searching for errors. There's a ton of errors with quarters because of how many varieties there are. There's just so many different kinds of quarters. With like the state quarters and the women's quarters and all of that. So we'll be looking for a lot of errors. And then also foreign coins, so like the Canadian coins, things like that are sometimes in here. See if I can get these open. These customer wraps are giving me a little trouble today. There we go. Also, the 2019 and 2020 West Point minted quarters. We'll be looking for those. I think it's the 2020 has a V75 privy on it. So that's another indicator you can look for. It has a little V75 right on the obverse. And then also any proof coins that we can find. Would be cool to find. I haven't ever found a proof coin. So it would be pretty cool to find one of those. My rolls are rolling. This is why I don't keep them on their side typically. Let me put these up real quick. Alright, so let's get through these last rolls here. This is $120 in quarters if you're wondering. Each roll is $10. So far I haven't seen anything that stood out to me, but we will see what we find after we look through, because after this I'll look through them and set aside a bunch to look for errors, and then after that we can move on to the pennies. And all the pennies that I have are all customer wrapped, so that could be interesting too. And this right here, this looks like a metal detector find or something. Let me see. Yep, that's a ground target for sure. Spent some time in the dirt. I would really like to find a silver quarter though. I've never found one in circulation or in a coin roll before. So it'd be really cool to add to my collection. I found silver dimes and I found silver war nickels, but no other denominations have I found silver. So I'd really like to. And also some years with proofs, there's silver proofs. So if you ever find a proof coin, you should check if it's silver, and you can check that edge to see if it's that bright white edge, or you can check by dropping it, because silver has a different sound than the clad when you drop it. Alright, just a few more rolls. I think these thick edges here that I'm seeing I'm pretty sure these are just 2022s or 2023s, yeah. So sometimes they look kind of like proofs, but a lot of times they're just the newer coins. They're just extra shiny. I can't get these rolls. There we go. It would be exciting to get some book fillers as well, because there's only a couple left for that book, and that book will be full, and then we can search for more like upgrades, I guess. So right now I've just been filling them with whatever coin I find. So if it's a coin that's the year of that, with one of the spots, then I just stick it in there, even if it's really bad. So even if it was like this ground target, I would stick it in there. But then after that, after I fill up the book, then I'll look for more upgrade kind of coins. I'm not seeing any silver, sadly, but I will get into these and I'll look for the errors and I'll bring you in if I find anything. Alright, so I just finished searching through the rolls and I didn't find anything super special, but we did find 4 book fillers, so we only have 2 left in the book. So I found a 1984 P and D, and then a 1971 P and a 1968 P. And then I have all of these coins over here that I've set aside to look for errors, so I'm going to go through those real quick, and then we'll move on to the pennies. Alright, so I finished searching through the quarters, and I didn't end up finding anything else error-wise. So I thought that we'd move on to the pennies. So for the pennies, I do have these 2 books here. This book, I only need 2 wheat cent book fillers, so 1953p and 1954p. And then this one, I'm just looking for some upgrades. So you can see the 1982 copper small date and the 2000p penny as well. So I do have 12 penny rolls here, and they're all customer wrapped, and unfortunately they all are marked as well. So that likely means that another coin roll hunter has gone through them. So I'm not going to open all of these rolls on camera like I normally would. The main things that we look for in penny hunts are Wheaties, so wheat pennies, and foreign pennies, so like Canadian cents or things like that. So I'm going to just go through these rolls. I'm expecting that it may be really quick and there may not be anything, since they are all marked with this mark. So I'm going to go through that real quick, and if I do end up finding stuff, then maybe I'll start opening the rolls on camera, but I don't want to do it if I know that it's not going to have anything. So I'll bring you back in if I find anything. Alright, so I finished searching through the pennies, and I didn't end up finding anything, and I'm fairly certain that those rolls were searched by another coin roll hunter. I mean, they were marked, so I went into it knowing that they might be, but we found there wasn't even a single 2009 in all 12 of those rolls, so I'm fairly certain they were hunted. So I thought that we'd move on to just the general wrap-up. So overall, this hunt was not the best hunt. We did have a lot of marked rolls, so I knew that that might be the case going in. But Nickels we didn't end up finding anything, but I can still, the nice thing with this hobby is I'm not out anything, and I can still bring all of the Nickels back to the bank. And so I'm just out a little bit of my time, and that's all right, because I enjoyed the hunt. And pennies, we didn't find anything. Quarters, we only found a couple book fillers, so I thought I would show the book because there's only, I think it's just these 2 left in the whole book. And then this book is complete, so we just have a 1968D and a 1969D, and then the book is filled. So there we go. I was excited about that, finding so many book fillers. And then we did find these 2 1970s with the reverse of the 68 dimes, which I usually find at least one of those in every dime hunt. But it's still an error, and it's going to be worth a little bit more than a dime, so we have it up here as a find. So if you ended up liking this video, please consider leaving a like, and if you'd like to see more content like this, please consider subscribing. I try to make content like this, doing coin roll hunts, as well as talking about different coins in my coin collection. and some of their history. If you have any comments on this video, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. I try to answer all the comments that I can. And I wanted to say too, I know that this video is coming out late. I had wisdom teeth surgery, and then I also got a cold at the same time, so my voice has been recovering. If my voice sounds a little different than the first part of the video, that would be why. So I wanted to say that hopefully I'll be able to get on a more regular schedule of posting, and it won't be such a big gap as it was this time. So yeah, I think that's all I've got for this video, so thanks for watching everyone. I'll see you in the next one.